KPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Rise and shine, campers. It's a brand new day.
What a lovely morning.
Good morning, starshine.
You seem happy this morning.
Morning, everybody. Thanks for coming in early.
The Coach James Hale Show is live and local. Live from the J. Michael Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hot tub. I'm full of water.
Wake him up, wake him up, wake him up. Wake him up.
Hot tub. Gonna get you hot tub. I'm gonna make it wet. Say hot tub. Rubber dub in the hot tub. Rubber dub with me. Should I get in the hot tub?
Yeah!
Will it make me sweat?
Yeah!
Should I get in the hot tub?
Yeah!
Will it make me wet?
Yeah! Well. And good morning. Welcome to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I didn't know if he would show up today, but the man, the myth, the legend,
Jim Durant
and Dr. Glenn Manley is in the building. And Martha is in town.
Yeah. Elvis
is in the building.
What is Manley? We always call him Dr. Manley. What does he have his doctorate in?
In life. Doctor in life.
Bunk, Bosch, and Filament.
Graduate of the School of Hard Knocks.
So he can do it. He can do it all.
Now,
Believe
kickers
me.
don't have hard knocks. We just kind of stand around and watch.
Well, how you doing, Wildcat?
Doing good.
Good to
Doing
see you.
good. You
Good to
watched
see
the
you.
thing yesterday?
I watched it
I didn't get
last
to watch
night.
it all.
I watched
fell asleep.
TV so much yesterday. It was incredible. The Hulkster was unbelievable. I thought he
That
brought
was
down
cool.
the house.
That was the last one I
He was
saw.
unbelievable. Kid Rock, I loved it. Some people were freaking like, "What the hell's going on?" Kid Rock was awesome. Did you see it?
Yeah, he was good.
I was good. And the guy, who was the guy that introduced Trump?
Dana White.
I like him. I thought he was outstanding. I guess he's the one that would start the cage fighting, all that kind of stuff, all these fight stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He's really good.
He's a definite self-made millionaire kind of
Yeah,
guy.
I can see why. He was highly intelligent, did a great job. I thought they knocked it out of the ballpark. I think it was great. Everything about it was outstanding. I just pray for both of them that they don't get killed.
RNC ended yesterday, and Microsoft crashes today.
Wow.
Did you know that? Did you
know that?
Did you get your millions out before it happened,
Yeah.
Jim? Yeah, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Yeah, all over the world.
all
Airports
over
are
the
out,
world.
hospitals, all kind of stuff.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Then were you playing with something the other day where you shouldn't have been?
No.
Okay.
Don't touch anything.
See what
like
happens with
that.
Wildcat? He started plugging stuff.
I knew Glenn was up to something yesterday.
Every time he starts watching that porn,
This is a family show.
Oh,
here.
man.
Good Lord.
Wow. I was cleared of all those charges.
As far as you
oh,
know.
that's right. I
Convicted?
forgot.
No,
I'm
never
sorry.
convicted.
As far as
I'm
you
sorry, I
know.
forgot.
Right. I cannot confirm or deny any of that, but I was cleared.
What do you think if he gets out, if Biden gets out, I don't think they'll kill him. If he doesn't get
Well,
out,
crap, no,
something-
he won't. He wouldn't know it if they did.
that's mean. That's mean.
You guys are
I
so
hope both of them
mean.
stay.
Yeah,
safe,
I mean, this
man.
is
So
there's no room for that kind of thing.
No, good God. Y'all pray for these politicians, no doubt about it. I mean, why would anybody run what they do to you? You know, they want to control us, and they have controlled us. We don't even know who's been running the country. Yeah, I do. I think I do. And
I'm not
anyway.
saying anything because it could be black helicopters.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. No.
This is true.
Anyway, SEC Media Days just wrapped up. I thought everything Mark McLeod told me. Did you see all the pictures he shared? Mm-hmm. It's pretty cool how they did it in Dallas. It was a big event out there. They were pumped up the state of Texas and having Oklahoma and Texas join the SEC. Then, a lot of talk was about FSU and Clemson out there also. And let me just say it this way. And I agree. We got to do. We've watched the Big Ten take over. I think they've taken us over. Now you can go crazy and get mad at me. They just won the national championship, and I think Ohio State's going to win it. I think Georgia's schedule's too much. It's going to be hard to stay healthy. I think the Buckeyes. That's my favorite to win it. Those two teams, but I would put my money on Buckeyes if I had to. If they win it, there'd be back-to-back Big Ten national championships. They own the country. They're from East Coast to the West Coast. They got all these television networks. If we bring in Virginia, Let's say we get them, and the Big Ten doesn't, and we've been in North Carolina, because that's the word now. And we said this, 6 months ago,
Right.
They got to get more states like the Big Ten. We said it right here. But if Clemson is playing a game on national TV, and they say they're playing Florida State, how many people are going to watch that game compared to if North Carolina's playing anybody, or if North Carolina's playing Virginia? You're going to have more people watching Clemson and FSU.
Right.
Of course.
So your ratings are going to be higher with FSU and Clemson individually, or they're playing one another, compared to North Carolina and Virginia. But we've got to get to North Carolina. We got to get Charlotte. We got to get more states like the Big Ten has done.
Right.
I get it. I get that. There'll be more people probably buying the SEC network. I get it. But the king of ratings is FSU and Clemson, not North Carolina. I'm talking about football,
Right.
and Virginia. So if you're the big wheels in the SEC, or because ESPN's going to have a lot to say who they pick also, because they're paying the bill.
Right.
I still would go. I would get all. I'd get all four of them.
Well,
I would not leave out FSU and Clemson.
Well,
I wouldn't do
yeah.
it. That's just me. And a lot of SEC people. I know a lot of my friends from Alabama. Hell, we don't want them. The heck with them.
Yeah.
All we're doing is helping them. We don't. That's what it is. They don't want to help them become another superpower.
Right.
And that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What's your guys' take on it?
It's hard to know who to believe. You read stuff online or you watch podcasts, and one guy will say this, the other one will say that. What I believe, it's all going to come down to money.
Oh, amen.
I don't care what conference it is, because eventually it's going to all be one or two. It's just word speak. It just is, in my opinion. It's going to come down to money. Who's going to give Florida State the best deal to go wherever, to whatever conference? Same thing with Clemson. Same thing in Virginia. Same thing with North Carolina. What you're saying makes perfect sense. It does. It's like a board game Risk. You get all put your little pieces around and move all your little. It is. That's what it's like. But it's going to eventually come down to money. Where can I get the most money? Because I got to pay for all my other programs, and I got to be able to divvy out my money. That's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah.
Now, who that's going to be, I don't have any idea.
No, the thing too is that they're not. Neither the Big Ten or the SEC. They're not going to be jumping out and putting a lot of words out until they are sure that those two are out of the ACC.
They don't want to get
They
sued.
don't get sued.
I mean, that's right.
That's the
right.
bottom
And so,
line.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty good, but I guarantee you there's been some talk.
Oh yeah, they're
so,
covering.
but
We are covering our butt. When he came out and said, "I've not
Exactly.
called them. I have not." He said that.
Right.
I have not recruited anybody. We're not going to recruit. Our leadership says
Yeah.
we don't want any litigation.
Right, so, but
we've
if-
taken calls, but we
now
haven't
if
called
they
anybody.
call me, now that's something else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I just think
Exactly.
it's going to be logistically when you have to work out. It's not really just the football. Football can afford to move,
Right.
But when you start going down to track and golf and
Softball,
tennis and
that-
softball, that, and then that logistically you need to be in that area. That's why it was the SEC. So
And think about it. Baseball. Clemson has a good baseball program. Florida State's baseball program second to none.
Right.
You got softball. Look how good they are in softball.
Right.
And you go play the Big Ten teams. Jason was there the other day. Said they only start baseball until later. I mean, they can't play up
Right.
there because of the weather.
Yeah,
Right.
and you can get up
I'm
there.
aware of that.
You can get up there in May and it still be cold.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know either, but
And, you talk. I just thought of this. One of the best softball teams programs is for women is UCLA. Well, they're going to be playing in the Big Ten now.
Yeah.
So that same record that they've had for like the last 30, 40 years, are going to be able to do that when it's cold, like we say, is it cold
Yeah.
out? That's same thing in Florida State. To me, it doesn't make a lot of sense for Florida State to go in the Big Ten. It just doesn't.
Right.
SEC would make so much more sense logistically and rivalries and traditions. That would make so much more sense.
Now you got the two teams that played for the national championship in the SEC now.
Right.
And and what four in a row for Oklahoma?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but see, we talk about how much pride there is in the SEC about college football. We want to have the best football program in the country. That's all we talk about. That's all
Right.
we're better,
Really?
we're better than the Big Ten. We've won so
Really?
much. And why
didn't know.
would we just say we're not going to take Clemson? This is one. They've won them. Florida
Right.
State's won national championships. It just makes us stronger in football and softball, baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just different. And I get the other schools. I was coached before. You don't want to help. I'll say it again. If they go to the Big 12, the big winner of all this is Central Florida. Their program's going to shot. They're going to shoot up. Right. I'm telling you, they're getting to play Florida State every year. I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like you. We coached together a long time, and I've heard this kind of spiel before. Why would Florida State do something that's going to help Central Florida? I mean,
yeah. And why would Florida be playing them?
And why would Florida? I know they're playing this year. I'm like you. That's a real surprise to me. Has Alabama ever played Alabama Birmingham?
Never. And Paul Bear Bryant Jr. will make sure that never happens.
Right.
He still has a lot of pull. He's getting up there in age. But Alabama will not play another small school. And Saban said it was okay, but nah.
That's like in my life of memory. Ohio State, I think, has played Cincinnati maybe twice. Maybe.
In the history.
Yeah, that I can even remember. And that goes back to the 60s. That I can even remember. Maybe twice.
Yeah.
So that's for the same thing. Why help your rival?
It's not like Alabama's hurting for money. They can travel. Anyway, we'll see how it works out. Who knows?
Yeah, and also the president of Florida, Ben Sasse, stepping down because of health issues with his wife. Yeah. And so he's done a really good job. And so
he will be missed.
Yeah, he will. So just hats off.
Now,
prayers for
I'm
them.
glad you brought that up because that's going to affect who the AD is. That's going to affect who these coaches are.
All right.
When a guy comes in there, and if he's hired by the committee, the board of trustees that hire him, the big wheels that have a say, so the big money people will have a say, so at Florida, who's going to be having this position. Now the governor, I think, can appoint somebody,
right?
But he'll want to keep the big money people happy, and if they're not happy with football, and the AD does not fire him, I really believe not only will have a new football coach, we'll have a new AD in Florida next year.
Could be a package deal,
But I'm telling you, hearing the scuttlebutt out of there, people are thinking Florida's going to be better than what we think. So I hope so. And I'll say it again, Coach Spurrier does not lie. Do you ever remember him ever telling us anything? No. He tells you the truth. You better not ask him a question because it might hurt your feelings. When I asked him why he's not going to hire me, I did. When Carl left, I said, I'm ready. He laughed. I'm not getting people in Cape Coral mad at me. Okay, I'd answer that question. Anyway, he thinks they're going to win 8 games. He wouldn't have said that if he really didn't believe they're going to win 8 games. Right. So I think they're going to be better than what people think.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, it starts out, we'll find out. That's for both teams, Miami and Florida.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'll look out for Miami. Who knows? I don't know. All right, let's talk about some of our great spots. It's Friday. We're going to go out. We have Bills in town. He was a former superintendent in Missouri. Him and his wife, Sue, they're back. They brought the little Datsun back. And they got a place here. They got a place in Missouri, their house out there, outside Missouri. Outside St. Louis. And great superintendent, great man. We're going to go to Jay Michaels. That's one of his favorite places when he's here. We're going to head down there tonight, have a great meal, have a great time. We encourage you to do the same thing. Today's special at Jay Michaels Restaurant, Chris Fish, is grilled fish, peppers, onions over bed of rice, a special sauce that's outstanding. Great food. And they got the ice cold beer. It's incredible. When Glenn gets here and starts having one or two, you can't get him out. I mean, it's that good. It's that good. South Oak Title and Closing. Chuck Tucker, love you, Chuck. You do an incredible job. You're a great man. Your dad was a great man, the principal at Mosley. Locals doing well, doing outstanding jobs. Make sure you use local companies. South Oak Title and Closing. The Mark Cowarts of the world down on 30A, multi-million-dollar homes. They all demand South Oak Title and Closing. You know why? They don't make mistakes. They want everything done correctly the first time. It's done correctly, no problem. Just like Stevenson Air Conditioning. Anytime, day or night, they're there for you. Call Jason, call Debbie. Make an appointment with them. They'll come out. They'll solve every problem you got, regardless what time it is. Stevenson Air Conditioning, #1. Just like Glenn's favorite place, Charlie Corn's place, the best country cooking you'll get anywhere. I tell you what, him and Linda's had a restaurant since 1986. They know what they're doing. He's a local legend around here. 231 15th Street, daily specials. Get out there and try Charlie Corn's place. We think you'll like it. We think you'll love it. And try Wildcat. Call, rent him out. I think you'll enjoy it. The guy does an incredible job. I don't go anywhere without Wildcat.
I don't do windows.
Hey, Wildcat, now, I asked James Hale this the other day, and he wouldn't admit it.
What?
But there's a rumor out there that when Hale goes to the water park, goes to Shipwreck, that he has Ceto, so that when he gets in the lazy river gets a little wild, he has somebody to bring him.
I have called them several times.
That's the rumor. I don't know if it's true or not.
I'm pretty sure it's true.
Yeah. They said they'll come if they need me. I mean, they're great. Unbelievable.
I'm in the 3 foot. I'm going down again.
No, you know what's scary? You get out in that wave, the wave thing that makes the waves. You get out there when it's not running, it's great. If you don't get back out of there before the waves come, you better be careful.
Well, the first one will wash you ashore. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, your body will wash you eventually.
Unbelievable. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings, reliable hydraulic solutions. Bill Bird Kia and Mid-South Lumber.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 88. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and mostly clear skies and be quite warm at 81. Likely thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 86. Likely thunderstorms and sprinkles Sunday with a temp of 87. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hey folks, Chris Kramer with Bill Kramer GM. And the best place to listen to the Inside Drive with Ryan Mulvey is inside a brand new vehicle from Bill Kramer GM. And I want you to know we've got 10 times the amount of inventory on the ground as we did this time last year, and darn near all of them are discounted. So shop us online at BillKramerGM.com or visit us the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd. We'll make it easy and take great care of you.
Man, is it hot. Not only is the weather hot, the savings on name brand Western wear at that boot store is sizzling. During their 60th anniversary celebration going on now. Shop the hot deals in air conditioning comfort and be amazed at the tremendous selections of Carhartt work clothes and Western wear available at that boot store. Open Tuesday through Thursday, 9 till 5. Friday and Saturday, 9 until 5:30. Next to Bill Berkey at 15th Street, Panama City. That boot store where God is good all the time.
If your neighbor, employer, or grandmother were traumatized by comments made on the Coach James Hale Show.
One thing people aren't saying a whole lot about, and I'll probably get in trouble,
But just wanted to take this moment to say, get bent. We're live from the J. Michael Studio, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Woo! Reminds me of Glenn on a Saturday night, man. Dressed in that white leotard suit.
God.
Something special about that suit Glenn was wearing. You
Yeah.
could tell he was a ladies' man, all right, the way he walked. It was amazing. It was amazing.
That's right.
He'd get up there and dance. People coming wanting autographs. You were a legend. I mean, even when you were a kid.
All right, sure.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, a couple things here. Let's get into this Big Ten SEC and something Nick Saban said yesterday. He's like we are. He said, I don't like the automatic bids. It should be the 12 best football teams. All conferences are not recreated equally. He talked about the point that we beat the Big 12 champion. TCU got in. We did not. We were 5th. They were 4th. They got destroyed by Georgia. He said we beat the team that beat them by 20 or 30 points in the Sugar Bowl. But he forgot he had the same record of the Tennessee Volunteers. And Tennessee put 50 or 52 points up on Alabama, and they beat Alabama. So if you're a Tennessee fan, you say, yeah, Nick, we agree with everything you say. You're right. But we beat you.
Right.
So Tennessee should have been in. And I think Tennessee was behind Alabama, like maybe 6th that year. So he made some good points. But the bottom line is, I agree with him. We should have the 12. I don't care if it's 6 from the Big Ten. 6 from the SEC. It should be the best 12 teams. One conference is dead and gone, so you're going to have the ACC champion. In the future, that's going to be a weaker league with Florida State, Clemson not in there. And then you got the Big 12. And everybody loves Colorado. If there's any way, this is a new Cinderella team. If there's any way they can get them in, they will be in there. I'm telling you that right now. They're going to get in any way they can. They're like the Notre Dames.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, he's going to have to win some games.
Yeah, I'm just saying if it's close,
no,
they
I know.
will get them in.
I know that, but.
So here's what I want to point out, and just play along with it. And you can plug any name you want, but I want to plug this name in because this is who I got winning the national championship. The two teams, everybody's picking one is going to be ranked number 1 or number 2. It's going to be, you throw them in a hat, pull it out, doesn't matter. It's going to be Georgia and Ohio State. Let's just look at the Big Ten. We'll start with that one. The Big Ten championship game. Let's say say Ohio State runs the table. They're undefeated. They have to go play the championship game. They beat on the road Oregon by a field goal on the last play of the game. They win by 1 point. Oregon loses another game. Let's just say they lose to, I don't care, name somebody. It doesn't matter. Whoever. They lost the game. A closed, hard football game. And maybe one of their players were hurt that week, didn't play, whatever. So they get to play Ohio State again, okay? They lose again in a hard-fought, close football game. Their record now is
they have 3 losses.
10-3. They're 10-3. Okay. We go, and the other leagues, they have other teams with 2 losses. We got Kansas State, that's 10-2. We got the champions, Oklahoma State,
Utah.
Yeah, we got 3 there.
Right.
Whatever the records are, whatever. They only have 2 losses. Those 3 teams wind up with those 2 losses. In the SEC, you wind up with Missouri with 2 losses. They didn't even play in the SEC championship game. You got Texas that lost 2 games, and they lost again to Georgia in the SEC championship game. And Georgia has 1 loss. So you're going to punish Oregon for playing in a championship game, and they lost it. They don't have 2 losses like 4 or 5 other teams in these different conferences, and they don't get in. That could, guys, I'm telling you, that could happen. You're going to penalize a team because they have 3 losses, but their loss is in a championship game against the number 1 team. If you're in the SEC and the Big Ten, you're going to be playing either the number 1 or number 2 team in the country for a championship. And if you lose it and that gives you 3 losses, should you be punished over 7, 8 other teams that only got 2 losses? I say, hell no. They play a real conference. They play a real schedule. And that might happen one day. I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but it could. Would you take a 10-3 Oregon over a 10-2 that didn't even play in the championship game? Oklahoma State, Utah, Kansas.
I'm gonna channel Glenn Manley here because he said this many times, and I agree with him. It doesn't matter how many teams you invite to the dance. Somebody's going to be left home, and somebody's going to be upset. Let's talk, you talk about Alabama and all this. Let's talk about Ohio State last year. When they lost, they were ranked number 2 in the nation.
Whole year.
The whole entire, everybody talks about Florida State getting left out. Ohio State was number 2 the entire season. All right, 1 for a lot of it. They lose to Michigan, the national champs, by 1 touchdown, and they got the ball
on the road
going in on the 25-yard line to win the game. So they finished the year, they got 1 loss. They go from 2 to 6. Like, what? So, yeah, I don't know how you're ever going to make this fair. There's always going to be somebody upset. Last year was Florida State.
You made a great point. What I was saying, it could happen this year with even 12 teams.
Yeah.
Look at Georgia. Georgia was 12-0, undefeated, back-to-back national championships. They lose in the SEC championship game to Alabama, which was ranked in the top 6 at the time, and they don't get to go.
So let's talk about the teams that we're talking about. Alabama 2 years ago, Georgia last year, Ohio State last year, Florida State last year. Those aren't the top 4 teams in the country.
Right.
Year in, year out. Those aren't the best teams. And at that same time, you've had Cincinnati, TCU. Who am I missing? I don't know. There's probably somebody else I'm missing. It's like There's always going to be, until it gets to the point where everybody gets in, like a high school basketball playoff. Everybody gets in. Everybody makes the tournament.
Yeah.
Until you get something like that,
Yeah.
there's always going to be somebody left out. And I'm not saying it's good or bad. That's just reality. Ohio State, same thing.
Yeah,
Florida State, same
I love
thing.
what Saban said.
Alabama, same thing.
I love what Saban said. I wish he was the commissioner of the college football, and they would have, it's just like the election. You can say Trump was stolen, the election was stolen from him 4 years ago. I believe something did happen. We never in the history of our country seen that all of a sudden the election stopped. Oh, okay, we got a water leak. We're going to stop counting votes. And then everything changed. Something was, I don't care what anybody says. I'm not an idiot. I'm not a sheep. I don't listen to what they feed you. And it's the same thing. We need to have a committee that's going to pick the 12 best football teams. And I will say Ohio State got screwed. Georgia got screwed. Ohio State got screwed. It is a fact. And I think it's going to continue to happen. It doesn't matter who wins the election. Who's counting the votes is what matters. It's who's on the committee that matters.
Here's the other thing. You talk about Tennessee, and Glenn, back me up because you're a Tennessee guy. 2 years ago when they beat Alabama, they were on a roll. Didn't their quarterback get hurt? Hendon Hooker, didn't he get hurt?
He got hurt,
yeah, that's right.
And that kind of what left them out too. So the precedent was already set that you have a great team, you're doing really well. Oh, but your quarterback got hurt. Oh, sorry, you go stand over there. We'll go back to you.
Yeah,
that's 2 years in a row because Alabama or Florida State last year, Tennessee 2 years ago.
Yeah,
where a great season, the quarterback gets hurt, and then not so much. Your season comes to a screaming halt.
Yeah.
Well, mate, you have to follow the money. The thing too is the narrative they set up for who they want in.
Right.
And so when you do that, and I don't know for sure, but I can tell you, I thought they already knew that Nick Saban was stepping down. I thought Sankey came in there and preached a good story. We can't have a playoff without an SEC team in there. I mean, well, it happened. It was going to happen. If Auburn could cover a pass with 15 seconds left, 39 yards down. But anyway, it just they set that up so you can't put Alabama in without putting Texas in because Texas beat Alabama.
Right.
So now that just kicked Georgia out. It kicked Florida State out. And Ohio State. Because that's the way they wanted it.
And going back where I don't trust and I don't buy what people sell, the collection, the committee, when it came on TV, and I think you pointed out first, and you look on TV and you see Kirby's little office and you see the 4 helmets that are going to make the playoffs before it's been announced.
Right.
We're going to find out when you find out.
What was really funny was the week before that, the Florida State helmet was up there.
Yes.
And then McElroy says if Florida State wins, there's no way to keep them out. That was on Thursday or Friday.
Right. And then he comes
back and says, well, we got to have the best teams in. He just changed his whole. And Booger McFarland was the only one that really stood up. All right, look. And then of course my buddy over there.
They cut his mic off.
Is this on?
Yeah. Then the guy?
Herb Street?
No, the other guy, the black receiver guy. What was
Desmond Howard.
No, not Desmond Howard. The other guy that comes on.
Joey Galloway?
Yeah, Galloway comes on and says, he starts, we're not doing this. We can't do that. We don't know anything. And I'm like, heck, every one of you knew what was going on. That's what,
it seemed like,
so there was 3 teams that got choked out of there. So
no doubt. There's no doubt.
So, but anyway,
let's just get the 12 best teams. Let's let Nick Saban run the show. Let's just go. If we get an injury, we get mad at those.
I did. I went to see Doc after that. My feelings were hurt, and he tried to help me.
The legendary.
He sent you to Dr. Jack Daniels.
Prescription. Yeah. Chad Mitchell, a living legend around here in Northwest Florida. If you get any type of injury, go see Chad. This will be his 25th year on Bay County sidelines. Incredible. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill. Karaoke was last night. Great place to have birthday parties. Buy one, get one free. Happy hour is incredible. We're talking about draft beer, margaritas, house wine, lunch specials every single day. Great place, great atmosphere. Right across the street from the Navy base, El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill. Rudy's Barbecue in Bat Beach Road. Do what Tommy Sentiment does. Every holiday, they use Rudy's Barbecue for turkey and for ham. and barbecue also. Glenn Manley, if you have a big business, you got a school, you're in charge of some big corporation, whatever, and you want to do something great for your employees or your people that or your athletes, you go to Rouge Barbecue or let them come to you. They cater. They do a great job. The legendary Rouge Barbecue on Bat Beach Road. Go check it out. TV's
Open up at 7 o'clock for breakfast.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
So, like, if you're out there, you can buy some breakfast burritos, and we'll unlock the front door.
And bring them to us.
Well, you know what's so great? Really, truly,
they're so good.
The setup is so nice there. Like you pointed out, you go eat breakfast there. You watch college game day, the early games. You can stay there all day and eat and watch all. The TVs are great there. It's a great facility. It's a beautiful place, no doubt. If you haven't been, you go check it out. Matter of fact, if you want a free meal there, give us a call today, and I'll give you a free Rudy's card, and we'll send you out there and take care of you.
Some anonymous caller.
Just anybody, somebody that knows me, then I'll get it back.
What's that number?
215-6290. Hello, this is Glenn. Okay, we'll give you one. We'll be right back. If I don't have CTO, I don't go. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. I'll be right back. Glenn Manley, Jim Brown, FSU up next.
Wow, card.
Let us in. Take them home. Bring them to the SEC.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Colin Cowherd. NFL executives, NFL coaches, NFL scouts rank the top 10 quarterbacks going into this league. I would not have Dak Prescott in the top 10. Jordan Love is better than Dak. You can't tell me Dak is more talented, raw talent, than Jordan Love.
The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Weekdays, ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hello, Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Tracy, I need your help.
Of course I'll help, Santa.
What can you do to help take the stress out of the holidays?
You heard it, folks. Santa called, and we won't let him down. All of us at Tracy's Fine Jewelry have been stocking our cases full of gold chains, bracelets, and earrings at the lowest prices. We'll save you money during our Christmas and July sale and offer 6 months free layaway. Relieve some stress and shop where Santa shops during our Christmas and July sale at Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Take control of your adventure and discover the new Kia at Bill Burr Kia. Our SUV family is built for all-in adventures and endless possibilities. Whether you're traveling on the highways or off-road, you'll do it with grace and grit. Now offering 1.9% APR for up to 48 months on the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or a new 2024 Kia Sportage. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. Bill Burr Kia is the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. The road is yours in an all-new Kia from Bill Bird Kia.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2024 Kia Sorento or 2024 Kia Sportage with $2,165 per 1,000 financed at 48 months. Quantities limited. No down payment required. Cannot be combined with other finance offers. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 9/3/24.
And here we go.
The #1 SEC call-in show is now twice as big. The Paul Feinbaum Show. Weekday evening 6 to 10. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
2, 3, 4. Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo! Florida State, Florida State, Florida State. Woo!
Sound like Curly from
That's right.
Hey, Mo, hey, Mo.
That's right.
That's back when TV was great, man. FSU Update is brought to you by the
We
legendaries.
watched so much of that. Oh, my God.
Newbies, 3 great locations. Getting ready to be 4. St. Andrews, here we come. Cannot wait. We'll have more on that later.
Is it true that Manley's in charge of the one over in St. Andrews?
I think Manley will be there in that Speedo.
Him and Ed running the show. Gonna have a school bus available to reduce costs.
Right. I think Ed got run over. I don't know what's happened to that. Anyway, we can't wait for that to happen. Before, get out to Newbies too. On the Curve, have a great time. All sporting events right there. Watch it and have a great time. Then head on down to the mothership because my beautiful girlfriend Charlotte will have all the best bands in the Southeast there every weekend for your entertainment. They do an incredible job. Jamie was in town and all that group, Morgan, Miley, now it's Mary Johnny Gray. Kristen Counts, all of them got together at the Booze and Brew, they had a great time down there. So go have a great time. Be safe. Jim, what you got for us today on FSU?
All right, we're going to start off talking about one of the more unique experiences that Florida State's going to have. They're going to travel to Dublin, Ireland to play Georgia Tech on August 24th. All right. Now, Georgia Tech was probably most famous last year for taking advantage of the worst coaching decision in the history of organized football, Mario Cristobal, who cannot kneel down. I think he needs a knee repair so he can kneel. I don't know. Something about I can't kneel down. What? Anyway.
Stats are important.
Yeah.
That running back needed another yard.
That was Georgia Tech that beat Miami that time. Now, and I didn't realize, because I'll admit it, I'm not much of a Georgia Tech fan, but they're not nearly as inept as what a lot of people think. They were 7-6 last year, 5-3 in the ACC. So it's not going to be a gimme game at all. And I looked into some of I was like, wow, they're a little bit better than I thought they were. Now, with all that being said, I'll talk about some of their stats. Florida State's only played them like 20-something times. They're 15, 11, and 1 overall, with having the most wins. But they've only played, it's like 5 times in the last 6-7 years. The last time they played them was 2022. They beat them 41-16 in Tallahassee. But last year, Georgia Tech, which, like I say, which I did not know, their quarterback, Haynes King, and I said, how do I know that name? He transferred from Texas A&M. I remember Ethan always talking about that could be the one of the quarterbacks at A&M. Anyway, he transferred to Georgia Tech. He was responsible for 35 touchdowns last year. I'm going like, wow, that's way more than Johnny Ukulele at at Florida State. He threw for 26 and rushed for 9. But he also threw 16 interceptions. So he turned the ball over a little bit. I mean, new program, new system, whatever. All their offensive linemen are 6'4" and over 300 pounds, which is not unique anymore. It used to be, but not so much anymore. But they're all their starters, all 5 starters, are juniors or seniors at Georgia Tech.
Wow.
So I'm looking at this, I'm going like, this sounds pretty good. A lot more than what I expected. They averaged over 200 yards a game rushing last year. They're 12th in the country running the ball. I'm talking about Georgia Tech now. But their problem was defense. Although they got a lot of big guys back, they got a new defensive coordinator. It sounds like a guy from The Sopranos, Tyler Santucci. Tyler Santucci is gonna be the new defense coordinator at Georgia Tech. So I don't think it's going to be the gimme game that a lot of fans maybe thought that it would be. Travel a long way and go beat them by 50. I don't think that's going to be the case. Now, with all that being said, you look at that on paper, you go, sounds like Georgia Tech's got a pretty decent team. Florida State is a 13.5-point favorite. The over and under is 54.5. So somebody in Vegas knows that even though they were decent last year in some spots, Florida State should be able to take care of them pretty easy. Yeah. So we'll see. 13 is a lot.
That's some good information you got. I had no idea.
I didn't either. Yeah. I said, their quarterback had 35 touchdowns last year? I was like, who is it? Haynes King.
I like what you said about older players, the juniors and seniors. That's
all their offensive linemen, all their stars are junior, at least a junior or a senior.
And they should be a lot better.
Oh, yeah. We've always had problems with them.
And their coach came from Alabama. He was Saban boy, so he knows what he's doing.
Right.
Yeah. This game, I don't think it's going to be a blowout either. I think it's going to be close.
Well, I didn't realize they were 7-6. I mean, I knew that they beat Miami. I knew they took advantage of that crazy situation. But I thought that maybe 4 or 5 wins. They were 7-6. They were 5-3.
I think this is his 3rd year.
Yeah, I think it is. I wish I had his name, but I can't think of it right off the top of my head.
I can't either.
But they've done a good job. They've come a long way.
Jim, go back and tell us again. Their overall history is Florida State had how many wins?
All right, they've played 27 times in all time. And Florida State has had 15 to 11 to 1.
Dang, man, that's closer than I thought.
Yeah.
That surprised me.
I think during the 60s. Both of them were, Florida State was independent, and so they had, I think they jumped on pretty good sometime there.
No, you stop and think back about Georgia Tech. A lot of people now don't realize how good that they were. But they played for a national championship in 1990 or 89, somewhere in there. Yeah. I can see the coach's name, see his face. He coached for the Chargers, too.
Yep.
Coach Ross.
Yeah, Bobby Ross. Bobby Ross.
That's right.
He did a great job. Paul Johnson ran the wishbone there. Nobody wanted to play them because you couldn't stomp them. Yeah. I mean, they were...
You didn't want your knees cut. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they were just like, man, I don't want to play Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech was in the SEC for years.
Yeah.
They won national championship. Bobby Dodd. I mean, they were great, man.
Yeah, Bobby Ross. They won. I think they won a national championship with Bobby Ross, like 1989, 90, somewhere in there. So, they've got a history.
What was it? Dodd. What was the old guy's name? It was there.
Bobby Dodd.
Bobby Dodd.
That's the stadium's name for him.
Yeah, yeah. Bill Curry played for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some connection there.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be a hard-fought football game. I think Florida State pulls away in the end.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. This is not going to be some big blowout.
No, not at all. I don't think. I was surprised. I'll be honest. I was surprised. Yeah. That's not what I expected. It's like, wow, they're a lot better than I thought they'd be. So we'll see.
Have they said when Florida State and Georgia Tech are going to report there? Because that's a long flight, man.
Yeah, it is. I got to figure
at least 3 days before.
3 or 4 days ahead of time.
Yeah.
Unless you've encountered jet lag, time lag, it's a real thing. Because my sister lives in California, and the very first time I visited her, flew out there, I'm sitting on her couch, it's like 8 or 9 o'clock their time, and I'm falling asleep. It's like, God, why am I so tired? And I think, well, in my body clock, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm tired, man.
Right.
She goes, Jim, you all right? I'm like, well, it's a real thing. So unless you've really, and that's like 5 hours ahead. They're 5 hours ahead of us, 6 hours for us. That's a big difference. So
would you, if you were in charge, would you agree to go play in another country when you could be playing Tallahassee, you could be playing Atlanta, or Orlando, some neutral site? To me, it's hard for an average fan to get to go watch this ball game. But evidently, they're making a lot of money doing it.
The people in Dublin are going to be watching. Those people from Europe are going to come to watch too, because they like American football.
That's exactly right. And I think the selling point is too, for something like that, it's an experience for the kids, a once in a lifetime experience that they'll never get. They'll probably, most of them, unless you make the NFL, got big time money. When you ever get a chance to go to Dublin, Ireland? I'll give something on a smaller scale. This is honest to God's true statement I'm going to make. When I was in high school and I was going to go to Akron, I'd never been to an Akron game in my life, ever. But I saw that in my sophomore year, we were going to play at Tampa. And I'm thinking, how cool is that going to be? And a guy from Ohio is going to be able to go to Tampa, Florida, and not have to pay for it, and on their bill. So we played in my freshman year. Freddie Solomon, who played for the 49ers, was their quarterback. Oh, my God, was he fast. But anyway, that was the last year they dropped football. So in 75, they dropped football. We never got to go to Tampa, Florida. So here we are.
You would have gotten to play against a Bud Casey coach team. He was coaching there when they dropped football.
He was at Tampa?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, he was.
Oh, they were good. They ran. Freddie Solomon was their quarterback. Until I saw Isaac Harvin, Freddie Solomon was the fastest human being I've ever seen in football pads. He ran by our sideline one time. I'm a freshman, just dressed out, just happy to be there. And he goes by. It's like, oh my God, this is what college football looks like. Holy crap, was he fast? And then he's running the option, and we had the angle. He broke along, and we got the angle on him. No, there's no angle. He outran the angle. Shoot, takes it out. Maybe it's like 16-7, something like that. But anyway, that once in a lifetime opportunity, the travel, that's a big deal for a lot of people.
One year we had a high school team from Hawaii come over and play Bay High School.
I remember that.
Yes,
I remember that.
So that was amazing.
Well, I tell you what, FSU, you're in trouble because Richard Sanders knows what he's talking about. He's concerned about this game. He believes Georgia Tech pulls the upset. Wow.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, right.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, we appreciate that, Richard.
Oh my God!
But I think it'll be a lot more competitive than what the average person would have thought.
All right, let's take a break. We want to thank Charlotte and John for the FSU update. Get to all three, soon to be all four locations of Newbies. Have a great time down there. The Mothership, the best bands, and then the Newbies on the Curve, Newbies 2 on the Curve. You can go watch all sporting events down there. Have a great time. Karaoke, what a great time down there. I know Thomas Ray is a legend down there, singer. Let's talk about some of our other outstanding people like Paparazzi Pizza, one of Glenn's favorite places. They have a bar in there now. You can go and have a nice cold drink, have a great meal.
They've always had a good wine selection.
Yeah, you know what? Everything
good.
they do down there is really outstanding.
No, they put some thought into it. You can tell.
The bakery though if you love sweets, you're gonna be shocked when you go in there and you try the Paradise Cake, Napoleon, things like that. You're going, wow, I had no idea.
Carrot cake.
And that'll bring you back. I'm telling you, that brings me
cake.
back all the time. It's
Carrot cake.
No.
Donuts.
Paradise Cake.
Donuts.
Paradise Cake. It's unbelievable. Best pizza you can get. On Fridays, you always want a pizza on Friday night. Go in there and have a great meal. Go in and pick it up and tell John we say hello. Paparazzi on Thomas Drive. Well, you ought to get Martha Pizza down there. Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. We love Pat. Pat's the city commissioner of Lynn Haven, does an incredible job. And this restaurant is unbelievable. You walk in, they always have a smile on their face. They greet you. They treat you so well. The service is unbelievable. The food's incredible. Great atmosphere. TVs everywhere. Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Go check it out. They do a great job. I'm so proud of them. Turpo Pest Control. Patrick does a great job. You'll have your yard looking absolutely beautiful. If you're jealous of Glenn's property, his house, his yard, you want to go with Turpo Pest Control. They can beat it. They can beat it. You hear me?
Hey, Joe, don't whisper.
Can you hear me?
It's not going to happen.
I don't believe those balls. We're winning. Oh, we'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Dan Patrick Show.
I think the Knicks had a great weekend. They talked their superstar player into leaving over $100 million on the table.
And he said he was taking inspiration from Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes to be able to ensure that you're still able to keep the core. If I'm giving up that kind of money, do I have any say?
It's the Dan Patrick Show. Weekday mornings from 9 till 11. ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 88. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and mostly clear skies and be quite warm at 81. Likely thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 86. Likely thunderstorms and sprinkles Sunday with a temp of 87. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hello, this is Rick Vossen with RV of Panama City, your local Stormore portable building dealer, located at 2241 East Baldwin Road. Shopping for a garage, portable building, cabin? We build them anywhere from 8 to 16 foot wide, 10 feet to 60 feet long. We can do insulation, electricity, transom dormers, thermal windows. Come, let's customize a building together. Rick Vossen, Stormore Portable Building Dealer, Panama City.
Let's see. Diamond stud earrings for Marcy, Bullo watch for Tommy, tennis bracelet for Kathy, and Keith wants a 14-karat chain. Oh, and Hannah wants those white gold hoop earrings.
Okay, guys, Santa gave me his list. He knows that Tracy's Fine Jewelry has the largest selection and lowest prices you'll find anywhere. We've stocked the cases, slashed the prices, and we're offering a free 6-month layaway on our entire jewelry selection. For a stress-free holiday, Tracy's Fine Jewelry, where Santa shops.
He doesn't always go the extra mile. But when he does, it's because he missed the exit. It's the Coach James Hale Show. Live and local inside the J. Michaels Studio. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Oh, yeah. Turn that baby up. Come on, Eagles. Glenn wrote this back in 1973.
This is not the Eagles.
It's Steely Dan.
Steely Dan.
Same thing.
Reeling in the years. Come on, man.
I thought you sold that song to the Eagles.
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay. Steely wanted more money for it. Wow. Oh, it's
Follow
Friday.
money.
It's Friday, and I haven't heard the Eagles yet. Let me just put that out there.
It's early. It's
And
early.
it's a man's world, and I haven't heard Elvis in a long time. It really concerns me.
2 hours.
Really concerns me.
That's right. In case you haven't noticed, I've been playing the songs that they played yesterday at the
They got a quick,
at the RNC.
Well,
That's
they
what I'm
copied
saying.
us. Man's
Yeah, they
world.
did.
Come
That's
on,
right.
man.
He's a man.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Oh, man.
All right.
Donald, don't copy everything I do.
Oh,
he always
man.
calls us his advice.
All right.
James, what should I do?
Let me tell you. All right, here we go. We were talking earlier about FSU getting robbed, Georgia, Ohio State, Tennessee a couple years ago, Alabama a couple years ago, whatever. Money, and Jim said, follow the money. He's correct about that. When you were talking earlier about this, it registered. I couldn't get it out. Okay, I couldn't expand on it.
Charter senior living.
Yes, thank you.
That's right.
But if you remember, they did a big article, and everybody was like, oh, yeah. When they said if Alabama's in the playoffs, that the advertisers, the people that spend money on the networks that sell their products, their company's products, they will make, it was X millions of dollars more if Alabama's in the game. Alabama's there. They were correct. You look at the TV ratings, when Alabama and Michigan played, it broke all the records. The average, let me say, like the Georgia-Auburn game was a big one, 8 million people. Auburn-Alabama was a big one, 9 million people. When Alabama and Michigan played, the average was 27.76. It peaked at almost 30 million people watching that game. You go look at FSU and some of these other teams, what they bring in, what the eyeballs that they get, not even near it. So you're right, sir. Money runs the world.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah. And
no question.
I get ESPN. The people that are paying your bills, companies, you think they want 30 million people watching. They don't want 9 million people watching.
Right.
I think that had a lot to do with also when Bama got in there. Another thing they're spinning at SEC Media Days, and it made some people mad. I was watching an interview, and Texas kept saying, this is now the biggest rivalry in college football. This is now the biggest rivalry in the SEC, the Red River. Well, let's hold on to that. How many people watched the Red River last year? Oh, here's what we had, the Red River, the biggest rivalry in college football, the biggest in the SEC. 7.8 million watched that game last year. LSU, Alabama, 8.8 million. Georgia, Auburn, 8 million. Alabama, Auburn, 9.9 million. So in the SEC, you weren't near the top.
Right.
Now, nationally, Ohio State, Michigan was the most watched game all year. So it's not the biggest rivalry game in the SEC. It's not. The Iron Bowl's still the biggest. I think Texas and Texas A&M will be bigger. I think more people are going to watch that game in the future than even the Oklahoma-Texas. That's just me. Right. That's just an opinion. Right. Before you start saying all these things, Longhorns, get your facts. Because I'm just copying somebody else that said this the other day. Said it ain't true. It's still the Iron Bowl. And this was the people who don't even like Alabama or in the SEC. And you grew up watching that game. In the SEC, that's the biggest rivalry in the SEC is the Iron Bowl.
Right. Look
at the games.
Yeah, Georgia and Auburn have been playing a long time also. So.
Well, all right, let's focus in on the SEC.
Right.
What is truly some big SEC rivalries? Let's pick 5, 6, 7, whatever they are.
I would say Florida, Georgia.
Okay, wait a minute, write that down.
I'm not saying that's the biggest. I'm just saying Florida, Georgia.
I got that one. Go.
Okay.
The Egg Bowl's got to be in there.
I got that one. Yes. Okay.
Alabama, Auburn, of course.
Got that one.
Okay.
Alabama, Tennessee.
Thank you, Jim.
Right.
That's a good.
Now, this is not total SEC, but Louisville and Kentucky.
Okay.
I mean, it's not. Two SEC teams, but it is in it. Yeah, but
yeah.
So and then
that wouldn't have made my list, but go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm just telling you.
LSU, Alabama's got to be a big one.
Thank you, Jim. That made the list. Thank you, Mr. Brandt.
That's pretty much it for me.
Arkansas
didn't make the list.
Okay. Well. It's important. It's important to Arkansas.
It's your show, so start talking. We got dead air.
It's important to you.
That's right. Well,
No, here's the biggest that made was one list, okay? Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, Texas, in the future, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Auburn, that's the oldest in the league, Texas, Oklahoma, now that they're in the SEC, Alabama, LSU. Those were the biggest. And I was sitting there thinking, anybody else, any other game we're missing, I think that's it. Nationally, big ones.
It is, yeah. You know, it's not as big.
Auburn and LSU's a big one.
Yeah. See, if you get into the other things, see, like Georgia Tech, that's a rivalry. You get into Clemson.
Florida State.
Yeah, Clemson.
Well, let's do that now. Let's just go to the 4 biggest national games: Ohio State, Michigan. Right. Then I'd say Alabama, Auburn.
Right.
What are the other ones? Red River, Texas, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
they're not even. They don't even draw what these other SEC.
See, the thing is, when because we're all pretty much the same age. Same age.
Whoa, time out.
Well, Manly's a lot older. But
it's not even close. Come on, man.
What was I going to say?
You're being too nice.
But anyway, Texas and Oklahoma back in our generation was a big deal because Texas was a national power.
Yeah.
Oklahoma was winning national championships, running the wishbone.
Right.
I mean, that was a big deal. That was a big game. They've kind of both fallen off a little bit, and it's not. I think it's going to get back to that, but it's going to take a little bit.
Even Nebraska used to be in that.
Yeah, Nebraska.
The old Southwest Conference.
Nebraska, Oklahoma was a big game.
Oh my God, it was.
Right. Yeah. So,
what about Miami, FSU? Yeah. Used to be a huge game.
Yep. Not so much anymore.
So what are the 4? Let's just go for what are the 4 as we speak? In the last 10 years, what are the 4 biggest rivalries in college football? Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn. They're in. Who would be the next? I mean, you could really say Army, Navy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they're not.
I would say LSU, Alabama is a big one. I mean, you stop and think about it.
Yeah.
LSU won a national championship 2019,
2020.
LSU rather 2019. Alabama won it in 2020.
Yeah.
And they're both
game of the century. Yeah, right. That's a good point.
That's probably
all right, that's number 3. What would be the 4th one? What would be the 4th one?
You know,
Wildcat, you want to help?
Nope.
Put that jug down, man.
No, I mean,
quit drinking.
My brain's kind of
we know.
steaming.
We understand.
Steaming back here.
Did anybody call? I asked people to call us, and nobody even calls. 215-6290. Do you want to Rudy's barbecue?
Make him do his job back there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Answer the phone. Well, he wants to know.
Oh, that's what that is.
Oh, that's that ringing noise.
Yeah, when you weren't in there, we noticed lights flickering.
I thought it was tinnitus.
Oh my God. Anyway, what's the 4th
And turn
one?
off Comfortably Numb. God,
Glenn, give me the 4th one. Give me the 4th biggest game. It's got to be. I'm trying to think. Oregon. I don't know.
What
Ohio State, Penn State. I don't know.
Notre Dame, USC has been a big one.
That's okay. Let's go with that. Notre Dame, USC.
Yeah. Do you have the numbers on the Florida, Georgia? What they bring in? How many people watch that?
I got it somewhere. I didn't write it down. I wrote the biggest ones down. It was Alabama, Auburn, Alabama, LSU, Ohio State, Michigan was last. Okay, listen to this. They were talking about Texas, Oklahoma, how big it is. 7.8 million people watched that game. Do you know when Ohio State and Michigan played, average, not the peak, the average, 19 million.
Wow.
19 million.
Yes.
That's
right.
not even close. I mean, they're not in the same league.
And I know this past year was a kind of a unique year. You got the intrigue with the cheating and all that. That kind of ramped it up a little bit. But even before that, it's always then you had the 10-year rivalry with Woody and Bo, and then Urban Meyer and Tressel.
You grew up with it.
Well, you know,
pretty special.
You have to throw Alabama and Georgia in there now because they're playing each other so regular here.
Right. Yeah. Let me see. I think I had that one. Alabama, Georgia. Yeah, that we didn't even talk about that being a rivalry.
That's Coach.
They don't play. But they play in
They have been the last couple of years.
Yeah.
But Coach moved that in.
Alabama, Georgia, 17.5 million. Wow.
All right, Mr. Alabama football. What is the reason why Georgia and Alabama, right adjoining states, have not played more?
Well, okay.
What's the reason? There's got to be a reason.
Coach Bryant, I've heard so many different stories about this. When he recruited Georgia, but he hated Georgia. When he sued the newspaper out of Atlanta, he hated going over there to the courtroom. The Bobby Dodd situation.
But that's Georgia Tech.
I know, but he was like the whole state. He didn't want anything to do with Georgia. He had a hard on about Georgia for a while.
Well, those people in Dalton, Georgia, did not care about Bear Bryant. I can tell you that.
Yeah. But I think, I don't know. They didn't play much. They didn't play Florida much. I don't know why that was. Why is it? I mean, we had different divisions. But back in the 60s, we didn't.
No, but you didn't have the playoffs. You just had.
Yeah.
So,
that's a great question. I don't know.
Yeah.
And you're right. It was mainly towards Georgia Tech and Atlanta. It was.
Just saying. I'm just curious.
Or was there some team in the Big Ten that Ohio State didn't play much? Or did they make y'all play each other every? See, we didn't play everybody.
No, they definitely don't play everybody every year.
Yeah. Thank you for the finger.
Even in the past.
We got one.
Can I say this real quick announcement?
Make that quick announcement.
We got to give a thanks and shout out to Preston Newfield and Bear Siegel. They're up in Fargo, North Dakota. For the Greco,
baby.
Greco-Roman wrestling. From Fargo, it's the national.
You know who invented that? Greco, Cody Baker.
Cody Baker. All right.
Colby Baker.
Kobe Baker. I'm sure it's been around since Roman days, but that's okay, Kobe. But anyway, I'll give a shout out.
Kobe was in Russia and Switzerland doing that. Okay.
Yeah, not during the Roman Empire though.
You don't know. He might have been.
Colby Baker invented this sport.
Well, we'll give a shout out to those guys. They're both from North Bay Haven. Congratulations to those young men.
All right, thank you, Glenn Manley, for that, and I hope he does really well. Just like I hope if I wanted a great friend, and I said, I want you to get this for me. I really want this necklace. I don't want a ring. I want a necklace. If I had a special woman out there that I really thought a lot of, that really just was special, where would I go?
I'm telling you where you'd go.
Tell me where to go.
I'm telling you. You go to David Asman Jewelry.
Yes.
830 Highway 77 in Lynn Haven. And here's a good idea. If you're really a cheap guy and you can't afford it, then all you have to do is take your old jewelry to David Adamson Fine Jewelry and Design, and you can sell it to them, and then you can afford that new piece of jewelry.
Come on.
It's a good idea. You ought to try it. David Adamson Fine Jewelry, 830 Highway 77.
And once you buy that jewelry and you want to get on a boat and get out in the Gulf, you got to ask one question.
So you can get down on one knee.
Do you have sea-tow? Do you have sea-tow?
Sea-tow, baby.
If you don't have it, I don't go.
Want to go for a boat ride?
No sea-tow,
you can take
no
your
go.
boat out and find the jewelry buried in the sea. And then
no sea-tow, I don't go.
That's what I do. I take my metal detector out there.
How do we get sea-tow?
I've got sea-tow. All you got to do is go to seatow.com, or you can talk to Brandon here locally. They got several plans, something for everybody's budget. 850-234-2323, seatow.com.
We'll get back. We got Jeff Spiegel. Go ahead, Jim.
I got a question. They have something. They have a plan for every budget. So if you don't have as much money, they only come halfway out and say, "Hey, you're on your own, pal. Start rolling.
Swim over here.
Come on over. We got you."
Drop an anchor, start swimming. We'll meet you halfway.
I heard that the other day. It's like, okay.
Well, they got plans.
I got a strong $5. Come get me.
In their defense, they got some plans where they will not only bring your boat back to where you put your boat in the water, but if you have problems with your trailer, they'll hook up to your boat and your trailer and take it home. So, or to your favorite boat mechanic. So that's one of their other plans.
Okay.
That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Huh? There you go.
Well, the best boat to own, the best boat to own is your neighbors.
2 hour show. Right back.
We have a plan for every budget. I got $5.
ESPN Northwest Florida, your home for Mike Greenberg.
Carlos Alcaraz, I believe the stage is set for him to become the next great one in the sport of tennis. Carlos Alcaraz is the best tennis player in the world today. That's not a hot take. That is an obvious statement of fact. Right now, of the athletes who we would describe as abnormally young, as freakishly young, whose future would you bet on before you would bet on him?
Greeny. Weekdays on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 88. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and mostly clear skies and be quite warm at 81. Likely thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 86. Likely thunderstorms and sprinkles Sunday with a temp of 87. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
With over 65 years of combined experience, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to help you take your collection to the next level. They carry all the new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia, and supplies. New and vintage cards and Pokemon. They sell and trade cards and are always looking to buy. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards is open 7 days a week at 752 West 23rd Street, down from Academy Sports. It can always be reached at InstantReplaySportsCards.com.
WPLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lunan, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Hey there, business owners. Do you feel lost in a sea of numbers, struggling to navigate your day-to-day accounting? At Lighthouse CPAs, they specialize in guiding businesses to make more money and keep more of what you make. From bookkeeping to tax planning, they've got you covered. Plus, with their user-friendly software, managing your finances has never been easier. Spend less time on paperwork and more time growing your business. Call Lighthouse CPAs 850-785-5254.
Now back to the most dangerous radio show in the Gulf Coast. Coach James Hale. He's so dangerous, he doesn't even check his eggs at the grocery store.
Danger's my middle name.
I'm bad to the bone, honey.
2 tickets to the gun show.
We're live from the J. Michaels studio on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Alabama Update is brought to you by Stevenson Air Conditioning. Anywhere throughout Northwest Florida, have any problem, call Stevenson Air Conditioning. They're there for you anytime, day or night. They're incredible. This man we're bringing on right now, we all know who Paul Bear Bryant is. We know who Nick Saban is. But he's actually been on TV more than both of them combined. He's been on TV, it seems like, forever. He's old. He's worn out, but he's incredible. Jeff Spiegel from ABC in the great city of Birmingham, Alabama. How you doing, sir, this morning, Jeff?
Coach, a good friend of mine told me one time that availability is your best ability.
So you've been available a long time? Is that what you're saying?
Unbelievable.
So I'm glad I'm available today.
Well, after that introduction, you ought to be sleepy and tired the way he drug.
I thought it was pretty good. Hey, you started. I think I have it right. You tell me if I'm wrong. You started in TV, in sports and everything, I think right 1983.
Right. I was a radio guy from 83 to 87, and then transitioned over into TV. Shortly after the transition from black and white to color.
Now that's funny.
Well, Jeff, I think this is going to shock some people, but I think I do have to do it now. Wildcat, I'll probably get a little bit of heat for this.
Should have put my finger on a 3-second delay button.
Let's just do it and get it over with. It's going to shock a lot of people throughout Northwest Florida. But as Jeff pointed out, in 1983 and 1987, he was in radio. Then he went to TV, and you'll be hearing about this shortly. I am getting ready to do TV. I will be going away from radio. Looking forward to it. It's another challenge in my life. At this age is something. Yeah.
Is this a joke?
No. I signed the contract. Just waiting.
You're buying any of this?
No. I'm not.
You know,
I thought listen, I'm trying to. This is called shock treatment. I'm trying to just get somebody to listen to us.
Jeff, we know he's full of it because his eyes are brown.
I'm just kidding, really. I'm just kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
No, you scared me because I thought you told me you were going to be taking my place. Father-daughter combo.
Oh, Lord.
Hey, now that's an idea. Father-daughter combo.
No, listen, just like when Coach Bryant left, you can't replace that. You can't replace Jeff. You might have a new face, but you can't replace that. It's unbelievable. Hey, let's get into the Crimson Tide. You know, when I first heard this, you know, you first see these things on websites, all this kind of stuff. It was like, they're going to rename the stadium at Bryant-Denny Stadium. It's going to be Saban Bryant Denny Stadium. Then other people thinking, I bet they dropped Denny. Then it finally got out the truth. Well, I'll let you talk about it. What are they going to do for Nick Saban? And I think it happens today. Give us a little rundown what's going on with honoring the legendary, the GOAT, Nick Saban.
Well, the trustees are expected to vote today that they're going to name the field at Bryant-Denny Stadium Nick Saban Field, which I think is a great honor. I think putting his name on the stadium, I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but I think, but listen, I've heard people kind of diss, the field naming because, when people refer to Jordan-Hare Stadium, they never call it Pat Dye Field at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
Yeah.
But you know what? But to Pat Dye, I'm sure that was okay. Yeah. I'm sure as long as fans could go to the stadium and they could see his name on that field, then he would be honored. And I think that's perfectly okay with Nick if they do it that way. As long as fans will go to the stadium, granddads can point to their grandkids that the name on that field right there is the greatest coach, to ever coach in college football, with all due respect to Coach Bryant. And they can tell all kinds of stories about Nick Saban. And to me, that is probably a better honor than having the stadium named after you.
Well, there's only a few of them like that. Bobby Bowden at Tallahassee,
Doak Campbell.
And then the Swamp, Spurrier Field. It's still Spurrier Field, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Steve Spurrier Field. So Pat Dye. That's the only ones I really know about. Y'all know?
Yeah.
Jeff, you know anybody else they got a field named after them?
I don't. I think, but I just think it's just a tremendous honor, and I think certainly he'll be humbled by it. He's got the statue, he's got the field named after him, and gosh, he's got several other things named after him. And they're probably going to name a street after him. And listen, what this guy's done, for the school, for the state of Alabama, for Tuscaloosa, I mean, it's just you can't put into words or dollar amounts if you wanted to even try. I mean, the impact that he's had on the state in Tuscaloosa.
And not just him, he got to get credit to his wife too. What a beautiful lady. She's outstanding, man. She's unbelievable.
Well, how about this? Yesterday, we heard he was going into the Alabama Business Hall of Fame.
I heard that.
And,
yeah.
Yeah, and part of that is because of the Nick's Kids Foundation that he and Terry started up, and part of it is also the car dealerships and all that. But just everything this guy touches turns to gold because he's a hard worker and because he's really, really, really smart.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, Jeff, explain to this Yankee right here. Well, obviously, I know who Bryant is, but who's the Denny? Denny. Who's the Denny part of that?
Come on, man.
Okay, now I don't want to embarrass myself. I think George Denny was like a former president of the school.
He was. Yes, he was.
Yeah, and so named Denny Chimes and all that. But Coach is. I would defer to Coach on this because he was in school when George Denny was the president of the university.
George and I grew up together. We go way back. Now he was there, I think, when they hired Coach Bryant too. Is that correct?
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah.
He was a big deal, man. Football was big.
He was a big deal.
Yeah, he was a big guy. No doubt about that.
Okay, there we go.
Golly, I was going to ask you something else that went right out of my mind. That's easy to do too. I know what I was going to ask you. What about our new football coach and Nick Saban? How did you think Nick did at SEC Media Days with his new job? What did you think of that?
Well, I think the stars of Media Days, and not in any particular order, but I think were Saban, Sark, and DeBoer. I think Kalen did an incredible job. I think he was terrific in the press conference. He handled expertly the question about following a legend, which he's been asked like 100 times, and then of course Saban on TV is gold. He's just gold. I mean, with like every take he brings. I mean, you know, when he talked about how Texas wasn't going to run the conference, I mean, that was just incredible stuff. And he has so much presence there on the set. And I don't know if you noticed this too, but it's not that he intimidates the other people on the set, but just the respect that he gets from the other people on the set. Like there was one time earlier in the week when Greg started to talk and Nick started to talk at the same time. Yeah, Greg, he used to play quarterback for Nick. And Nick just goes, he gestures to Greg and he goes, "Go ahead." And Greg goes, no, I'm not going in front of you. You're the man. And I loved it. I think he's great on TV, and I think it's just he's going to have a great career there.
Jeff, we got to take a break. Can we hold you over? Okay, good. We'll come back and finish up with Jeff. Let's talk about some of our great people. Appreciate all of you. You guys do a great job. I want to thank Stevenson Air Conditioning for the Alabama update. You want some good country cooking? There's no place better to go than Charlie Corn's Place on 15th Street or up on 231. The food's incredible. Specials. Now, this is what's going on Friday night. Fried fish or grilled. You pick whatever you want. Then you get the baked beans, cheese grits, or french fries, rolling tea right there at Charlie Corn Place. The food's incredible. The atmosphere, the new facility is beautiful. And him and his beautiful wife, they've had a restaurant since 1986. They kind of know what they're doing. Get out to Charlie Corn Place, have a great time. Now, if you want seafood, the legendary J. Michael's Restaurant on Thomas Drive, the best seafood, the coldest beer, go check it out. Today's specials, crisp fish, grilled fish, peppers and onions over a bed of rice, and special sauce is outstanding. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Oh, there's a woman. How deep is this soul? She can bring him such music.
ESPN Northwest Florida, the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Let's give a round of applause on a Friday night to Sparks. Come on in, Sparks. It's all yours. Woo!
Good evening, ladies and germs. How y'all doing? Hey,
get this bum off the stage. Boo!
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 88. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and mostly clear skies and be quite warm at 81. Likely thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 86. Likely thunderstorms and sprinkles Sunday with a temp of 87. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Bestway Portable Buildings has been your portable building specialist since 1989. Before you invest your hard-earned money someplace else, owner Jason Mulder invites you to stop by Bestway and get a quote on just about any size building. And whether you buy with Bestway or not, it's worth the trip just to meet Bestway Buddy. Say hello, buddy. Good boy. Bestway Portable Buildings, just north of Harts Marine on 231, and online at bestwayportablebuildings.com. The best in portable, period. Tell them Buddy sent ya.
Love a great deal? This is the big one. The Big One sales event is going on now, and you can get 3.99% APR plus 90 days until you make your first payment on Camry's new elevated design. Make every drive count and get 2.99% on the stylish Corolla. Rule every adventure and get 2.99% on a new RAV4. Or enjoy the power and get 1.99% on the tough Tundra. Come see us for the big one at Panama City Toyota.
Offer ends July 31st. Visit PanamaCityToyota.com for details.
For everything in the world of golf, it's the Watson Report. Thursdays at 4:20 with Alan Watson from Golf Plus. ESPN Northwest Florida. Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael studio.
Eagle! Hey, and she's in town.
Yeah,
Martha's
Martha,
in town. I love it, man. Hey. All right. Auburn Update is brought to you by Beef O'Brady's in Lynn Haven. Get there and have a great time. All you Auburn people, James, Guatemala, Jenna, all you guys head down to Beef O'Brady's over in the great city of Lynn Haven. They do a great job. Pat Perneau is the city commissioner, does a great job over there. One of the best they've ever had. His restaurant's incredible. Beef O'Brady's, Lynn Haven. All right, we got Jeff on the phone with us. Let's jump into Auburn. What was your take on our coach Hugh Freeze? How did he do? What do you think about the Auburn Tigers?
Well, I thought he did. I thought he did pretty well. His press conference was, was good. I thought, what kind of mystified me a little bit was, all I've heard about their schedule is that, man, the first 5 games at home, this is just going to be great. It allows Auburn to get off to a good start. But he talked about how the first 5 games at home was not ideal. And I was kind of scratching my head about that. And he said it was because, fans, have to go back and forth, every week to the game and all that stuff. And I just thought that just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you would think like the first 5 games at home right out of the gate, would be a big advantage. But I guess when you look at it, you kind of want a balance, right?
Right.
Because they're not going to be at home the whole month of October. And so their schedule is kind of weird. But I don't know. I mean, I would prefer to have the first 5 games at home to kind of get my legs under me. And, you got your first big SEC game there against Oklahoma. So that was interesting. And then, when Hugh starts talking about recruiting and about how, he's not a big fan of like the 24-hour recruiting cycle or whatever, it comes off as he doesn't want to work as hard as Kalen DeBoer and those guys are working.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it comes off as to me. And so I don't know. Some of the stuff that he says just kind of can be misconstrued. I would guess as just whining a little bit.
Well, Jeff, I don't want to be rude or disrespectful, but I will point this out. He has a degree from the Harvard of the South, the University of Southern Mississippi. I understand you and Jim Brandt and Glenn Manley and Wildcat back there. You guys didn't have a degree from that university, so it's hard for you to comprehend what
you guys function at a different level.
We're at a totally different level.
Well,
so I get where.
Let me just say this: I'm speaking for Jim too. By the grace of God, we did not have one from there.
That's right. We'll take our Akron and Middle Tennessee every day.
Anyway. No.
Well, here's something too that I was a big fan of the way he's handled his staff. It was obvious, the first year that he wasn't in touch. I think he released too much control of his offense. And I think he wants to put his stamp on that this year. I think that's why he brought Ken Austin in. I think that's why he brought Derek Nix in. He wants more of a comfort level for him, and I think that's going to translate into pretty good comfort level for Peyton Thorne. And he's got some incredible receivers, coming in. So, one thing that I knew and then forgot is that Freeze didn't play football at Southern Miss, right, Coach? He played baseball.
He did not play football. Only real men play football at that school.
So why did you play?
That's right.
They needed a cheerleader.
Thank you, Jim.
That was too easy. That was a slam dunk.
That's right. Set up.
That was a lob at the rim.
Well, you know what? There have been other really outstanding coaches that did not play college football. They have been.
Sure.
It's very few. But
Urban Meyer.
Urban did not play college ball. I did not
Baseball.
know that. Okay. Yeah, some of it's because your size, some of it's because your ability. So whatever reason, it is what it is. Anyway.
That's right.
I'm being positive. Yeah. Go ahead, Jeff.
You left him speechless.
You brought that up, him not playing. I'm trying to think, who's listening now? I'm going to get mad about what we're talking about.
No. But I think, and Peyton mentioned yesterday, too, just the vote of confidence that Freeze has given him. And I think that's going to go a long way. And as we've mentioned before, it's all going to come down to how well Auburn plays at the line of scrimmage. And one thing that was overblown, I think, last week or earlier this week was, everyone wanted to talk about how Jordan-Hare Stadium was a tough place to play. And by golly, it is. It is a really, really tough place to play. But it seems to me that was overblown a little bit because Auburn went 3-4 at home last year. So, if you're going to talk about the home field advantage, my gosh, you got to do a better job of protecting home field.
Yeah, the one thing that blew my mind, seriously, because it is a hard. If you ever played there, it's loud. It's a hard place to go in there and win, especially in a big ball game. But you remember back in New Mexico State, I guess, didn't read the memo. I mean, they went in there and kicked their butt,
Put it on
both sides of the ball. They were more physical football team. They were just better across the board. And I'll be honest with you, that shocked me. And then they played Georgia. And they should have won that game, and they really should have beaten Alabama. And then you go watch them in the bowl game. So I really don't know what to expect. I think they're going to be really good, a much improved team, but you got to play hard every single game.
I do, and I think you look at their schedule and you go, and you can find 6 surefire wins, but the other ones are, the other ones are kind of up in the air. I mean, that the other ones are a case of where, they're going to have to scratch out another win or two. I kind of see them winning. I see them winning 8 games. Like if you had to, kind of pin me down and say, are they going to win 7, 8, or 9 games?
Yeah.
I can see them winning 8 games. I can see Peyton Thorne getting better, and I hope he gets better. And I want to see Cam Coleman just light it up. Because I think this kid's got the ability to be one of the best receivers, to ever play college football in this state.
No doubt. I'm looking at their schedule right now. They've got to go into the Oklahoma game undefeated. They've got to. That's a critical game. If they can beat Oklahoma, they got a chance to have a good year. I think if they lose Oklahoma, then it could be 7 games they win. Now look at this stretch. Arkansas, I don't care how good they are, they're a physical football team. Arkansas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Missouri, Kentucky. That's a nice little stretch right there. They got to. What do you think? Oklahoma's supposed to be a much improved football team. Auburn's supposed to be much improved. It's not a night game. I think it's an afternoon game. I was wishing that game would be a night game for Auburn because I think it's just better at night at Auburn. But what do you think? Who would you go with, Oklahoma, or would you go with Auburn? It's at Auburn.
I would go with Auburn at this point. Certainly I want to see the body of work after the first 4 weeks. If they struggle the week before against Arkansas, and then I'd probably change my mind on that. But also, I think people are looking at Oklahoma, and they're not really sure about the Sooners yet either. It was amazing to me earlier in the week that of the 2 teams that are coming into the league, Oklahoma was like, oh yeah, Oklahoma's. Texas came in like, oh my gosh, it was like more fanfare over Texas than Oklahoma. And I thought of the coaches who spoke that Sark just kind of owned it. I mean, he said, with all due respect to the SEC, we're coming in here to win this thing because that's what Texas does. You know? And he was terrific. So much more fanfare over Texas because I think they're going to be really, really good this year. And also I love the fact that that Saban didn't pick Alabama to get in the SEC championship game. It was kind of reverse rat poison is the way he referred to it. And that was a deft move by him, too, this week as well.
And I love what's his name, the offensive lineman? Booker. Yeah, he goes, I don't listen to some old guy that all he does is play golf. I loved it. I freaking loved it, man.
Loved it. So good.
All right, I'm going to go back to Auburn's schedule. This is one I think is going to be tough. At Georgia, Georgia, I think is going to play really well in that ball game. They didn't look good against Auburn at Auburn. I think Georgia will play well there. I think that's going to be a tough game for Auburn. I think at Missouri is going to be a tough game for Auburn. Missouri's offense should be outstanding. They got a lot of guys coming back on both sides of the ball. They got a lot of confidence right now. I think Auburn's going to struggle at Missouri. At Kentucky, I like Auburn. Vandy, I like, no doubt. And then the Texas A&M game. But the away games, Auburn's going to have a hard time winning. They're going to have a hard time beating Alabama and Tuscaloosa. They're going to have a hard time at Missouri and a hard time at Georgia. That's the 3 games that stand out. And then the week before the Iron Bowl, Texas A&M. Texas A&M's got a lot of guys coming back, and they got a really good coach now. Even though I know the first year's the hardest for a coach, what do you think about the A&M game?
Well, I think it's one of those games that's kind of tricky for both teams. because I think if you ask coaches how they would prefer to do it, they prefer to keep the cupcake game, before the Iron Bowl. But this is going to be a game where, they got to be locked in. Auburn's playing Texas A&M. Auburn's playing Alabama the next week. Texas A&M is playing Texas the next week.
Yeah.
So there are big rivalry games ahead of that game. So whichever team, can lock in and kind of and keep their focus and concentration in that game is going to tell the tale of who's going to win that game. That's interesting the way they've aligned the schedules now, putting a tough conference game like that, before the Iron Bowl and before the Texas A&M game.
Jeff, do you, if you don't mind, if you can't understand, but if you could hold you just for a second, there's one other question I wanted to ask you. We got to take a break. Are you going to wait and do it next week? You can say.
No, I'm totally good.
Okay, good. We got good. 30 more minutes. Okay, we'll be right back. No, I'm kidding. Let's talk about some of our wonderful people. Turpro Pest Control. You want that yard looking beautiful? Call Patrick. They'll come out. It'll be absolutely gorgeous. He knows what he's doing. They do a great job. There's no doubt about that. We're out in the sun always as young. We're on the beach. We're on the golf course. We've been playing athletics all of our lives. You pay for it later in life. You better go get checked out. If it doesn't look right, feel right, 5 minutes can save your life. Dr. Ward has offices throughout Northwest Florida, Marianna, everywhere. You know that. 5 minutes will save your life. Don't put it off. Go get it checked. He does an incredible job. He found it in 5 minutes when I was in there. He cut it all out, got it out the first time. He does an incredible job. You can listen to him every Wednesday, 7:30, right here with us on ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll be right back. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. There you go.
ESPN Northwest Florida. We're taking the inside drive.
But Shazam was an app that told you what the music was that was playing.
And I know Gomer Powell used to say Shazam.
Gomer Powell, boy.
Shazam.
Yes, sir.
See, we wouldn't have got to that moment on today's show had we not done this app bracket.
Absolutely not, man.
It wouldn't have happened.
Join Ryan Mulvey.
Thank you very little.
Middays 11 to 1 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you spend any time at all in your yard, you're going to encounter fire ants.
We know they can ruin a party. That's why we're this area's experts at fire ant elimination.
As your certified top choice professional, we will rid your yard of these unwanted invaders. Brock Pest is so sure they will get rid of fire ants that they offer a 1-year guarantee.
Enjoy your yard fire ant free. We guarantee it. Give us a call for your free consultation.
Brock Lawn and Pest Control, our family protecting yours since 1968.
Attention homeowners, are you dreaming of a backyard oasis? Look no further than S&R Fencing, your go-to destination for quality outdoor transformations. At S&R, they specialize in crafting custom fences, decks, retainer walls, and all exterior construction that not only enhances the beauty of your home, but also stands the test of time. Their experienced team takes pride in delivering top-notch craftsmanship with a personal touch. S&R Fencing, locally owned, licensed, and insured, and a member of the BBB.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The tradition continues.
Lots of force on this one. Hello, Chop House. A 2-run homer.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show inside the J. Michael Studio.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
Yeah, listen to this. All you women out there, make sure you're listening right now.
See what I got to put up with, Jeff?
Nothing, baby. Nothing.
Without a woman
Unbelievable. They copied us. Donald called me. I gave him permission. They used this when he walked on stage the other day. Yeah, I said, go ahead and use it. That's okay.
I didn't take Trump's call that day.
Yeah, I like him. All right, let's bring it back on. We got Jeff with us this morning. Jeff, the big question is, we talked about this earlier with the Big Ten, SEC. Saban came out and said what we've been saying for years. Let's pick the best teams. If it was 4, let's pick the 4 best teams. With 12 teams giving a free ride to the ACC and to the Big 12, I think it should be the 12 best teams. Nick said that. But let's even go a little bit further. What is the SEC going to do if all these teams have the same records? I was looking at it. They're not going to use, the SEC is not going to use the bowl playoff poll to determine the 2 teams to play for the SEC championship. Mm-hmm. They're going to go over the winning percentage, winning against common opponents, winning percentage against ranked teams, all this kind of stuff. Have you heard if it came down, they're still tied when they're everything you look at? Because I know the Big 12 and the ACC, they're going to flip a coin. Once you go down all the lists, and we got 2 teams out the exact same records, exact same categories, they're going to flip a coin. What are you hearing from the SEC? What's going to happen if we have all these ties?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, I haven't really heard anything. I don't know if a coin flip is the right answer, but you know how when you're talking about the NCAA tournament and all that stuff, and you kind of cheer for chaos. There's probably a lot of people who are cheering for chaos in that situation just to see, how well Greg Sankey handles that situation. But that'll certainly be one of those that maybe you weren't counting on running into. But Greg Sankey's got a plan, I'm sure. He's got to figure that out. But it could be a chaotic situation if that happens.
Yeah, I wish that was been asked at media days with him up there. I know they have something in play, but I just can't find it. Let me ask you this: he said something at SEC media day, and we've been talking about it all week. We brought the point up. If the expansion, he made a comment that the leadership of the SEC, the presidents, did not want any litigation coming towards the SEC. He made a comment that said it to make sure everybody heard it. I don't recruit. I have received phone calls, but I do not recruit. And we're happy and we're pleased at 12 teams. We're good at it. All the reasons we're good at 12. The Big Ten's all throughout the country. They got multiple networks. I think we screwed up completely. But everybody's now saying they're going to go after North Carolina, Virginia, and they're waiting for this contract to be dead and gone with the ACC and ESPN or whatever it is. What's your take on that? I don't think he slammed the door on FSU and Clemson. He kind of pushed it too, but I don't think it's slammed because when he turns around and goes, the recruiting part, they don't want any kind of part of being sued by the ACC, and neither does the Big Ten. What's your take? Do you think FSU is completely shut out of the SEC and Big Ten, or do you think there's a possibility down the road we can get them?
Well, I think if you're an astute businessman like Greg Sankey is, who probably is the next guy to be voted into the, Business Hall of Fame or whatever, you never say never. You don't shut the door, on any expansion or allow any other teams in. But at the same time, SEC Media Days is not the proper, venue to come out and say that, hey, the more the merrier. We're open to adding teams. Just, give us a call. Our number's 205-451 or whatever it is. And, so I think he was smart just to kind of say, hey, we got 16 today, we're 16 tomorrow, and moving on from that. So, that's really the only way to handle it if you're the SEC commissioner in that environment.
All right, let me ask you this. We keep saying we got to get new states. I pointed this out this morning. But if you're ESPN and that you've got the rights to the SEC and you guys are trying to make money off advertising, the companies, they look at charts and they look at teams who have who turns the TV sets on when these teams are playing. Alabama is at the top of the list. Everybody watches Bama. Ohio State's up there. Georgia. When we got to bring in new states, we got to bring in Charlotte out of North Carolina, a big market. We want to go to Virginia, get another state. But I pointed out, if you have North Carolina, Virginia playing as SEC members and they're playing each other, how many TV sets are really going to be turned on to that game compared to if you have Clemson playing FSU and they're both in the SEC? People watch FSU. People watch Clemson. They've both won national championships. What are you better off doing? Going to get the new states, the new markets like the Big Ten has done? I get that. I think that's important. But really, people watch FSU when they're on TV. People watch Clemson. So which way would you go?
Well, I mean, I'm a more the merrier guy. I mean, I think that's where we're headed. I think we're eventually just going to have these big super conferences, and that's kind of the way it's going to be. I mean, I can't look at a crystal ball and tell you what college football is going to be like, 10 years from now, because 10 years ago, I never would have suspected that we would be, where we are, now.
Right.
But there's really no telling. One thing that Sankey told, I think, the guys on the next round was that, he's not interested in slicing up the pie anymore.
Yeah.
Just a statement just to say that, hey, we're good with where we are right now. But that doesn't mean, we're not open to inviting these other teams in. But as we mentioned before, the SEC and the Big Ten, those are the big boys right now. And, my prediction is that those conferences are just going to continue to just gobble teams up.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're headed, I think.
Well, I want to ask you this, too. I think he's really highly intelligent, knows what he's doing. We're playing 8 SEC regular season games. We're getting paid X amount of money. I think he's going to use to go to 9 SEC teams playing every year, that he's going to demand more money from ESPN, and I think he'll get it. Am I right?
Yeah.
Is that they can use that? Okay, you want us to play 9 games, you're going to pay us X amount of money. And it's going to be a lot, too, because this is going to hurt these teams getting that opportunity to go to a bowl game, if we even have bowl games down the road. What's your take on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's probably where we're headed is the 9-game schedule. And Nick Saban mentioned it, this past week about, wanting to keep, the bowl games around and all that. And Sam Pittman did too. And I think it's important, that we do that. The bigger the sport gets, the bigger the chances are the bowl games will be kind of, de-emphasized. But I think that's where we're headed. I think we're headed to a 9-game conference schedule. And I think a lot of coaches, would be in favor of that. What I don't want to see is if we go to a 9-game schedule, is that we lose some of these big intersectional matchups, like Texas, Michigan, like Alabama, Wisconsin, and all those guys. I still want to see, some of those every year. So I hope we don't lose those.
All right. Before we let you go, last year you knocked it out of the ballpark, home run. You said Jimbo Fisher would be gone. It happened. Two questions. What's your prediction this year? Something that is going to happen we're not thinking about. And did anything at SEC Media Day get your attention? I don't care what it was. Anything.
Well, I think the one thing that got my attention this week, during media days was just just the bravado that Texas came in with. And I think it's not something that maybe was unexpected, but man, I mean, Sark is coming in to own this league, and that's one thing I came away with. He was the most impressive person up there at the podium all week in terms of the coaches, and I guess a surprise prediction would be, everyone is picking Georgia and Texas, to be in the SEC championship game. But I'm telling you, I think Kalen DeBoer is going to knock it out of the park this year. So I'm picking Alabama to go back to the SEC championship game. And I'm expecting an incredible first year with Hale DeBoer. I mean, I came away even more impressed with this guy and the fact that, he's got it all together. And Nick Saban's doing a great job of kind of staying in that the advisor role. He mentioned that he hasn't been in the football building since he retired, and I thoroughly believe that. But I also think that he's got his hands in the program just enough where he's not a distraction, but he's been a huge, huge help to Hale DeBoer, and I think that's going to continue, down the road.
Jeff, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you staying over extra with us. We really appreciate that. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Hey, I appreciate you, Coach. Have a good weekend.
You too, buddy. Thank you, sir. All right, let's talk about some of our great people. We got so many of them. It's incredible. Max Fit Sports Nutrition. You want to look better, feel better? Go by and see Jason Kovaleski. He can make that happen for you. Hell, he has Glenn looking good. It's incredible. Get out to Newbies. Have a wonderful time. 3 great locations. Get ready to have 4th one. A new one over in St. Andrews. Looking forward to that. Also, let's take a break. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
For 7 years, ESPN Northwest Florida has been your destination on the Panhandle for the Atlanta Braves.
He just blew the doors off that thing.
But our listeners are the real MVP.
Another dominating performance.
So this year, we're giving away more tickets to Truist Park than ever before. Keep listening to win family 4-packs to experience the Atlanta Braves. From ESPN Northwest Florida, PCB Hobby, Pepsi, Fairfield, Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
Good morning. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with your weather forecast on this Friday. A possibility of thunderstorms and partly sunny this afternoon and evening with a gentle breeze coming out of the south-southwest at 10 miles per hour and temps near 88. Tonight we will have likely thunderstorms and mostly clear skies and be quite warm at 81. Likely thunderstorms tomorrow and a high 86. Likely thunderstorms and sprinkles Sunday with a temp of 87. This forecast is brought to you by Ellis Agency Insurance. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you hungry for authentic Mexican cuisine? Then come to El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, where we serve up the freshest, most flavorful dishes on the beach. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, a great location, comfortable atmosphere, and happy hour from 3 to 7. Buy one, get one free, regular margaritas and 12-ounce house drafts. And you're going to love their lunch specials Monday through Friday from 11 to 3. Plus live music Wednesdays and Saturdays starting at 5:30. El Rodeo Tequila Bar and Grill, Thomas Drive across from the Navy base.
Downy Rinse and Refresh. Break up with stinky clothes.
Rinse it out. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of the stinks that just will never come out. Pouring out in the rinse change. Every now and then I rinse it out. One wash and it delivers. One wash, it smells so clean. Downy Rinse and Refresh, it's a dream.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes 100% of odor in just one wash. Guaranteed.
Do you know who I am?
If he was the last person on Earth,
I'm kind of a big deal.
mankind would still have a chance.
We may have to repopulate the Earth.
Now back to the Coach James Hale Show.
I'm very important.
Live from the J. Michael Studio on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Fat bottom girls, you make the rockin' world go round.
Go for it. I'm enjoying the song. I'm just listening. That's pretty good. And we're back live.
We wrote this song watching the people riding by on bicycles.
That's right. We are back live. J. Michael Studios, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We have the man on the phone. It's called the People's Caller. Don't you have to call in to be called the People's Caller?
Yeah,
you
I
would
think
think
so.
they call a lot to get that title.
I think so.
Let's bring him on if he's still on the phone.
It just now hung up.
He got mad and hung up.
You said he's on there and poofing.
Well, that's good.
Maybe he'll call back.
Maybe he'll call back.
Maybe not.
Well, don't take the call this time.
Yeah, it was Michigan Eddie, by the way. Do you notice the phone ringing? I mean, you haven't been in there all day. Anyway,
he was out of town, so he was listening to the show over the phone. And
okay. Okay. He probably has something.
He shouldn't have hung up.
He probably has something important he has to do right now. I got a phone call here. David texted me, and he would not give out my phone number, and I appreciate that. But I got a phone call, touched my heart. He said, this young man called you. This young man now is 56 years old. I cannot believe he's 56 years old. I called back, and it was Tony Thompson, the leading rusher. He holds 2 records at Tennessee, running back records that he still holds. He came from a small little town, Lake Wells, Florida. He was the best running back I've ever coached, one of the best players, maybe the best player I've ever coached. He was not big. Jim, you saw the film, his highlights. He was not big at all. Strongest kid I've ever seen in my life. He called, we talked. This is what sports do for you. You can be from a small little town. He lives in a little bitty shack. His grandmother more or less raised him, and his mother. Great people, love him to death. He goes to Tennessee. He plays there. He played as a freshman. He was going to start after a certain game, got his shoulder hurt. He said, Coach, the first play against Alabama, they run a draw. That guy about killed me. Mm-hmm. He's traveled the entire world. He's been to China, Italy, everywhere this company works for. Mm-hmm. Who's the guy in the Tennessee background that owns a professional football team?
Oh, shoot.
You know what I'm talking about? It's the biggest Tennessee booster. He owns one of the teams.
The guy that owns the Browns.
What's his name?
He owns the gas stations.
Yeah, you're right. That's him.
I can't think of his name.
That's who he went to work with. That guy
really
helped shape his entire life.
Did not know that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was so proud of him. And I got to I'm telling a great story about a true American, okay? Not some, anyway. I'll come back and talk about this Monday or Tuesday when you're, because I want you to hear what he's done in his life. A little guy from the little bitty Lake Wells,
Florida.
It's incredible, his life story.
The Highlanders, baby.
It's like Elvis, the American Dream. James Brown, the American Dream. That's like Tony Thompson.
Now, people talk about you like that James Hale made it big, you know.
Well, compared to what I came from, it's
rags
big.
to riches.
All right, let's bring him on. He's hung up. He's gotten mad. He's throwing a hissy.
No, he didn't get mad. He just had to do a thing here.
Okay.
Oh, bathroom break.
Yeah. Good luck.
It happens.
Let's bring him on. The People's Caller, Michigan Eddie. Good morning, sir.
Go Blue Truck Series representative. Hey, the owner of Pilot is Jeff Haslam, by the way.
Jeff Haslam, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's who Tony went to work for. Go ahead, Michigan Eddie.
Yeah, so speaking of, I'm down here in West Palm Beach. I had to hang up because Eddie was doing the 60, and I couldn't be on a call and tape him at the same time, so that's why I had to hang up.
Oh, okay.
After you think everyone that listens to your show wants to listen about Alabama football for 45 minutes with Mr. Spiegel. Just saying, not everybody does, Coach. 45 minutes. Okay?
I'm with you.
But here's the real truth. If you get your show, you can have anybody on you want.
Thank you, Glenn. Yeah, thank you, Glenn.
But who makes the show?
Well, if you look at our...
Who goes to the sponsors? It's the callers that go to the sponsors that allow Coach
I don't believe you guys realize how many Alabama fans are in the Panhandle of Florida. All it is Lower Alabama and Auburn.
Well, here's the thing. Whoever writes the checks gets the...
Thank you.
I see a lot of those big A's on the back of people's windshields and on their bumpers, I have to admit.
They want me to do 2 hours on Alabama every day. I can't do that.
Florida
anyway, there's a lot of military down here that don't give a dang about Alabama or Auburn, whatever. Just saying, I'm just speaking the truth because I got to speak for all the voices, not just for Lower Alabama. That's why I'm the people's caller.
Man, I tell you what, keep on
bringing it. I'm bringing it strong. I'm going to fight like President Trump, and I'm in his home and I'm in his city, and hopefully I'll see Trump Force One at PBI today, like I did last time I was down here.
Don't come down from the north and tell us how to do things. That's all I say.
I'm a Floridian now. That's my home.
You're not.
That's what my driver's license says.
That could be.
Hey, you want to know something?
I do.
I got out of the military, right, and I couldn't use my Michigan driver's license anymore, right? And I'm like, I want to be a loyal Michigan resident. They said, no, you're not active duty anymore, so you got to get a Florida one. And I held off because I'm loyal to Michigan and all. But I'm like, well, what's in 2016? What happened? I'm like, well, you know what? Our country is more important than the statehood. I got to change my my voting rights to Florida so I can vote in the presidential election.
There you go.
And that's why I did. I've been a Florida resident ever since, just so I can vote for Trump. Seriously.
There you go.
Straight up.
Hey, I just got a text about what you said. That's pretty cool what he said. It goes right here. we don't care about Michigan and your driver's license. We'd rather hear Alabama football. I'm just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying.
That didn't happen.
Obviously, whoever sent that text, I was thought I'm in your head because you're talking about Michigan. So if you didn't care what I said, you wouldn't be listening, and you wouldn't be texting Coach about what I'm saying. So I was like, I am in your head. Oh, here's the thing. So I'm at Perfect Game 13U National Showcase in Cacti Park, home of the Nationals and Astros, by the way.
Here's the
spring
thing.
training.
Here's the thing. You said
and here's the thing. I walk in, mind my own business. Next thing you know, I get an OH. I'm like, are we in your cranium much? Buckeye? Just saying.
Well, here's the thing. You said you're from Michigan. I know. I would want to be as far away from it as I could get, too.
Actually, Michigan's a beautiful state.
It is.
Don't judge us by our political leadership.
I'm not. I'm just north of Detroit is unbelievable.
Hey, Wildcat, wake me up when they're done.
No.
Who's going to wake me up?
So, anyway.
No, you're doing great, Glenn.
I've been up there. I'm
Glenn's
just saying it's
doing
great.
It is. I got to agree. I've been in northern Michigan, been to Marquette, Michigan twice. It's beautiful. You're right.
Except when it snows and it starts to melt and they shovel it everywhere.
That's the best part when you get the snow on a Christmas morning.
Where's Kid Rock from? All right, that's the bottom line. Where's
He's
Kid
from
Rock?
Romeo, Michigan.
All right, I love
School.
Michigan then. I love Michigan then.
He went to Romeo High School. And then the preachers from 180 Church in Detroit that spoke last night at the RNC.
Sure.
There's a lot of Michigan flavor. What about Hulk? Hey,
love him. Give him a hand. Let's go.
Hulk Hogan. We're Trumpites now. Trumpites. Hulk, baby. Yeah, he was awesome, man. All last night was awesome, bro.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Even the commercials were good.
Yeah. It was just,
Jim, you want to say anything? You want to get more into edgewise?
No, so if he went to Romeo High School, were they the Poets?
They were the Bulldogs.
Oh, okay. Well,
Bulldogs.
Played against them many times up there, and they were a bigger school, so they usually got we were a smaller school, so they got the better end of the stick. So, but yeah. But Romeo's known for a lot of apple orchards, apple cider, hay rides, Halloween, and all that stuff. It's an awesome place to go in the fall.
Where is Romeo, Michigan?
It's about 45 minutes, just kind of north of Detroit.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like by Marysville, St. Clair, that area, if you're familiar. Kind of between Detroit and Port Huron, but more to the north, more inland.
All right.
When he gets mad, does he
That's our
remind you of
geography
Ernest T.
lesson for
Bass?
today. Thank
He
you.
is Ernest T. Bass.
Yeah, he reminds me of Ernest T. Bass.
Betty,
when he gets upset.
where's Charlie
Ernest T.
Locks?
Bass.
Doesn't he? I mean, he does. He was starting to get mad. He reminds me exactly. Ernest
He
T.
doesn't
Bass.
talk in rhymes, though. I mean, you ain't
What are
heard
you
the last
talking
of
about?
Michigan, Eddie.
What are you talking about? You round me up, Coach. I've been home for 45 minutes.
I know it.
I finally up so I can call you. I'm not working nothing. I'm trying to get a chance to call you.
Oh, I'm
Well,
glad.
I'm on hold.
I'm glad you're.
Well, congratulations.
I apologize. We'll from now on.
You planned it. You planned it.
We will shut down the show and get him
by
out.
the way, your callers, they're not conspiracy theories if they start coming true. Just saying. Anyway,
That's true.
go ahead. Be careful. And I guess there's a cyber outage today.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
saying.
Microsoft.
Yeah,
Was that
just
today?
saying.
Or I thought last night. I thought it was last
No,
night.
this morning.
This morning.
Good
Morning.
Ongoing.
Yeah.
So,
That's kind of been predicted for a while now. Just saying. So anyway, I'm just saying, just have your guard up. Get the sword of the Lord, man. You know, sword of the Lord. Have your shield, Christian armor on.
Get you some water and food supplies.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
right.
Gasoline.
When you coming back home?
Flying back Monday if the flights are on time. 'Cause I heard some of the flights are delayed today. Glad we flew down here last night instead of today.
Okay.
So we're supposed to fly back Monday
Hey.
afternoon.
We got 30 seconds. I want to thank you so much for calling the People's Caller. What you brought to the show today is something I'll never forget.
Sure. And I got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell.
Hey, you have a great weekend.
Yeah,
We
thanks.
can't wait to get back. Come by the
Good luck,
studio and
buddy.
see us when you get back in
Yep.
town.
Take care.
Love you
Miss.
guys. You guys have a blessed
All right,
weekend.
man.
See
God
ya. God bless you. God bless Trump. I'm out. See ya.
There you go.
We hope you guys have a great weekend. Glenn, tell your beautiful sister I said hello. I'd
I
love
will.
to see her. Jim, Bobby, have a great weekend. Wildcat, keep on drinking. We're out. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The afternoon underdogs.
I don't think there's one match under Triple H's regime that we remember anything. And this is going on for years now. I mean, this is the new wrestling, right? It's, the last match I really remember is Andre and Hogan, to be honest.
Hey, there you go.
So, wow. There you go.
There's been a few in between, Mike.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.